Two empires are marching toward the same colosseum. On September 13th at Allegiant Stadium, Canelo Alvarez brings all 4 super middleweight belts, and Terence "Bud" Crawford climbs 2 divisions to try something boxers talk about but almost never do: unseat an undisputed champion in his own kingdom. Netflix is turning on the global lights, the arena is booked, the noise is already deafening. This isn't a belt collector tune-up, it's a one-night referendum on greatness. But the weight of this night isn't only measured on a scale.
And Canelo only need one punch. You know what I mean? That really, basically, that's what it boils down to. I think Canelo only need one shot to change the game or change the fight. Crawford gonna have to stay consistent and win out. He's gonna have to get ahead and stay ahead. You know what I mean? And then also looming is the controversy. Can Crawford win a close decision? I could never win a close decision. I never won a close decision. That's what's looming. I think if Crawford is going to guarantee victory, he got to stop him.
A man who ain't been stopped.
He got to stop him, bro.
It's challenge.
So that's going to be the challenge. So I like Bud. I've always loved Bud, bro. But he in for a hell of a fight. If Saul show up, it's going to be problems. You know?
Bud is stepping up from 154 on paper, but the gulf between 154 and a fully hydrated 168-pound Canelo is more than math. It's bones, leverage, and the way shots feel when they land. The WBA has already made it clear. Once Crawford walks to the super middle ring, his 154-pound status ends that instant. No safety nets, no rehydration or rematch clauses to nurse a bad night. If he wins, he detonates history. If he loses, he'll hear the choir say, "too small," before the ring is even taken down. Yet size is a headline, not the whole article.
You know, I think that Crawford has the ability to outbox Canelo. You gotta look at it. And then Canelo's older. Crawford has the ability, but he's small, you know, and he can look bigger Crawford could look bigger in the weigh-ins and all that stuff, but it's always a difference. When you get in that fight with somebody, you can tell. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel fought him, the twin, he fought Crawford, and in all the stuff, the weigh-ins and the press conference, Jamel looked like the bigger man. You know, his head, his neck, everything looked bigger, but when they got in the fight, you can tell. You can see who really was the bigger man, and I think that's the same thing. Crawford is putting on weight, but it's not weight. Like Canelo had the weight already. He doesn't have to put on muscle. He doesn't have to do that. He's already big like that. But I think that Crawford does have the style. He does have the style to beat him. If you look at the people that beat him or gave him trouble, Irislan, De Lara, Austin Trout, Floyd, and Bivol. You know, they gave him trouble and stuff like that. And Skull moved around a little bit too. So I think that Crawford has that. But I don't know how Crawford is gonna respond when he gets hit. Same thing with Jamel. Jamel was undisputed at 154, and Canelo hit him and shit. Jamel was like, hell no. Jamel took a knee, you know. So it's a big difference. And Crawford had that one fight at 154, and he didn't, you know, Madrimov would touch him up a little bit. And this is nowhere close to Madrimov. You talk about Canelo. Now, if it was just another bigger guy, I would go with Crawford. But you talk about great. This might be. I mean, people might kill me for it, but well, not really. But this might be the best Mexican fighter ever.
It has to be. Like, I don't know if it's even been done before like this, but I don't think anyone's been successful at least at it. But he's got to. It's going to be tough. Like, I don't know how he's going to do it. But I just know Crawford is so smart in that boxing ring that if anyone's to do it, he's definitely someone that can do it. So the weight stuff should be a rule, and it is in boxing that you're just not meant to jump it. You're not meant to jump multiple weight divisions like he's doing. But if it's Terence Crawford and he's smart out there and he knows what Canelo has to offer, because Canelo's one, he's jumped up from weight divisions too. Like, he used to be a welterweight a fairly long time ago, like I was.
You don't invite Jaron Boots Ennis to spar unless you're preparing for nasty angles and switch stance traps. Canelo's camp did exactly that. Trainers praise the move because Boots mirrors the speed, elasticity, and southpaw orthodox switching that gives punch pickers headaches. Translation: Canelo isn't cruising into this, he's adjusting the chessboard before the opening bell. But who actually benefits when the bell rings? Mass or mind? The argument is simple. In a division where Canelo has shoved back men like Kovalev and stood his ground against Golovkin, Crawford's brilliance has to penetrate thicker armor for 12 rounds. Voices like Abel Sanchez point to the strength tax. Bud may flash early, but once the rhythm slows and the clinches grind, the stronger man leans, punches on the arms, and banks rounds. Liam Smith, who's felt Canelo's weight and body shots up close, sees a late stoppage or a methodical decision. If that script plays, it's because Canelo shortens the ring, tags the torso, and forces Bud to fight at a heavier man's pace. Still, the smaller fighter has been embarrassing bigger men for a decade. Amir Khan leans Bud for being fresher, not in years, but in mileage. Teddy Atlas zeroes in on intangibles, timing, problem solving, that assassin's calm after scouting a few rounds. Roy Jones Jr. reminds us that size blurs when the smaller man's feel for rhythm is superior. Pure mass doesn't win exchanges if you never get the look you want. And then there's Dimitri Bivol's blueprint. Give Canelo shadows, not targets. Feet that draw him into resets, stances that force him to hesitate, and punches he doesn't see until the return is already landing. If Bud turns that key, the bigger engine can stall. But even perfect plans buckle when bright lights change the air. Names for the third men and three at ringside are known, and that alone stirs the usual Megafight suspicion. In razor-thin rounds, who gets the nod? At Allegiant, with 60,000+ pulsing, every short right, every body hook looks louder than it feels. The fighter who controls optics, ring generalship, clean bursts, the last touch in an exchange, can quietly tilt the narrative. Bud's fans recall close fight lore and worry. Canelo's fans call it experience. The truth? In a fight this big, round management matters as much as highlight shots. Banking minutes is how you bank the belt. So how do they actually get it done? Let's draw the routes. For Canelo, jab high to occupy, step right to close Bud's southpaw lane, and keep the hook downstairs humming early. When Bud switches orthodox to change the look, meet him with the short right and that shoveling left to the liver. Don't chase, corral. If Canelo turns the ring into corners and ropes, dinner is served. Boot-style looks in camp sharpen that read and react timing. For Crawford, defang the set feet power by refusing predictable entries. Stance switching must come after the touch, not before it. Touch, slide, then switch as Canelo resets. Draw the counters, make Canelo fire at the first image, then punish the space he leaves. B-ball's lesson still applies. Make him turn, not lunge. If Canelo has to find you every minute, his offense becomes a scavenger hunt. Easier written than done, and there's one more wild card. If Canelo wins, he erases the won't face prime slick movers critique and strengthens a resume that already stretches across 4 divisions. He'd also stamp Zuffa Boxing's launch with a king's signature. If Crawford wins, he detonates history at 168 and makes an argument we haven't heard in years, that we just watched the best switch hitter since the sport's black and white era cut up a bigger champion on the biggest stage, live to the world. Either outcome changes more than rankings. It changes how we talk about risk in boxing. In a sport addicted to safe math, this is glorious bad arithmetic. A precision surgeon is walking into a giant's house with a scalpel and a smirk. The giant has seen this movie before and still likes the ending. On September 13th, the noise will fall away, the lights will fill close, and 2 men will discover whether physics or problem solving is the stronger law. If you're still here, you're one of us. Stick around, because the next chapter starts when the ring posts start glowing.